Hey, everybody. Welcome to North Park University, the School of Music, Art, and Theater. My name is George Cederquist. I'm the producing artistic director of opera and theater here at North Park, and my colleague.
Hello, I'm Josh Quinn. I'm the music director of opera at North Park, and it's wonderful to be with you all today.
Thanks for hanging out with us wherever you are, however you're watching or listening. We're glad that you're checking out this little pop-up video and, of course, the full production of FARAMONDO from the fall of 2021. So our class that Josh and I taught together was focused on recitative and to train our students to really dive deep into this skill and to apply that not to individual opera scenes, but to one single operatic text. Recitative is such a part of the Baroque and classical repertoire. It's a real skill that we wanted our students to learn. Josh, how the heck did we figure out what piece to pick, knowing the voices that we had in the room, knowing that we wanted to focus on recit?
Well, luckily, Handel wrote many operas. Unfortunately, there are only about a handful that are frequently
any good.
Right. Well, I think they're all good, and they all have merit. But I think there's only a handful that are performed. And I'm honestly not really sure why. I think part of it is the stories that are so gripping for audiences. They lend themselves to really lavish productions. So I think there's those like 7 to 10 that get reproduced over and over. But there's so many other amazing operas by Handel that are just sitting in this, sitting in the canon unperformed. So as soon as George and I decided that, recitative and basically focusing on da capo and recitative together would be the focus of our class, I went on the sleuth, the hunt for the perfect opera, the perfect piece that would fit our class, but also fit our students, trying to serve them as best as possible as well. Finding a piece that would give them enough material to really, feel like they're really working on a role, really delving on a role, but also still manageable enough that it's not overwhelming while they're trying to really get the concepts of these, rather difficult types of performance practice. So I started looking, honestly, Wikipedia was a great starting point. It just gave me a list of all of the operas. So from there, you had to go and start to look to see what the casts were like. Many of them involved, male sopranos, countertenors, which we didn't have. So it required a bit of imaginative casting.
We have 7 students in our class plus 1 North Park alum that joined the family. So how many Handel operas fit perfectly into the voice types that we had?
Well, there was one actually, and it was the one we luckily we selected this piece called FARAMONDO that fit our class perfectly. It had the exact amount of students we had in the class. It had the right voice types for the most part. Obviously, we had some mezzo-sopranos singing roles that were originally written for male sopranos or countertenors. But that's just the nature of sometimes how we have to perform these pieces in the 21st century. FARAMONDO worked perfectly for the guidelines for what we were looking for an opera, but also worked perfectly for our class this past semester.
Josh, what are the stats on FARAMONDO in terms of how frequently it's done?
This wasn't actually in my original research, but as we started getting into the rehearsal process, I was thinking, well, there's a recording or two of this piece, but I've never seen this piece listed in any opera company's season. So how frequently has this piece been performed? Again, have to do a little bit of research. But I went online, did some research, and it turns out that this was the Chicago premiere of FARAMONDO. It's been performed. This is the second performance in the United States ever. And then the 8th performance in the entire world since 2009. There's we get to add our performance to a list of really really sparse statistics for performances on this piece, and I think it's a very, very cool project to have been a part of myself, but also to be able to expose the students at North Park to this really kind of rare gem. I think we'll call it a gem. I think it's got some really wonderful moments in it, and definitely deserves to be noticed.
It is a gem. The plot is completely incomprehensible, and I will not
So
even...
unlike many other operas, though, right?
That is also true. Like many operas by Handel, the plot, it's like it's on HBO. Like, the thing moves so fast and so furious that people are coming and going. In our production, because we were focusing on recitative, many of the arias were cut out. We had each student sing one aria along with a few duets and other ensembles. But really, as you'll watch, the piece focuses on this lightning quick Italian recit.
That is not very unlike many performances at major opera companies of the Handel hits. Like Cesare, when you go see it at a regional opera company, so many arias will be, either trimmed or cut to serve the, the opera company's restraints on, maybe their union has time limits for the orchestra. So, at the beginning of the process, I was thinking, oh, well, we're really trimming this piece down, but it's really not that different than how this piece might be performed if our students were at a regional opera company.
It did give our students a great taste of real-world experience, as well as a very practical skill of working on text and music for recitative. This is your chance to see it. You might not get another chance to see FARAMONDO. Thanks again to Atlas Arts for a 4-camera taping, and in the functionality on the Atlas Arts page for FARAMONDO, you can pick your camera angle and even jump between camera angles during the presentation. Again, if you're watching on North Park University's YouTube channel, you want to like and subscribe. It's probably right down there in the show notes. Thanks again to the students and staff in the School of Music, Art, and Theater, and of course to my colleague, Josh Quinn. Enjoy.
My pleasure.